How's it going, guys? Thank you for joining me for yet another Pokemon TCG Pocket tier list video. This time we're going to be going through the Dark-type Pokemon available in the game. So, we have three tiers here. We have the Solid tier, the Mid tier, and the Junk tier. So, right now, off the bat, there is only one Dark Pokemon that I would consider to be in the Junk tier. That is Golbat. He's really not good. 70 HP on a stage 1, not very high. 1 energy for 40, not very good damage output. Retreat cost of 1, doesn't matter. You only have 70 HP, you're probably going to get KO'd anyway. At the end of the day, it's junk, and that's why it's in the tier for junk. That's where it belongs. Moving on to the B tier, we have a couple of interesting Pokemon here. Now, I'll start off with, let's go with Weezing. Now, I really like Weezing. I really think its ability is fun. It has the ability, Gas Leak. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active, you may poison your opponent's active Pokemon, which does an extra 10 damage every time the turn passes until they either retreat or until they evolve. So, this can be very effective. It also has an attack for 1 energy for 30 damage. Not very impressive. The ideal strategy here is you get it in the active, you poison them. Maybe you attack, maybe take a little bit of damage, and then you get it out of there. Now, there are two ways to get out of there. You can either retreat, which is very expensive at 3, or you can use the Koga support card, which will then pick up the Weezing and put it back into your hand. Or put it back in the deck. I can't recall. I have it on screen here. Now, the main thing with this is that it's just a way to get a little bit additional chip damage and a way to tank some hits. So this could be very good. I might even be solid, but I'm not exactly sure yet. So we'll have to see after some more games happen, some more people play and test out the cards. Maybe this will get bumped up in the tier list, but for now I'm putting it into mid because I'm not sure about the overall effectiveness of this strategy as of yet, but it seems reasonable. The next Pokemon that we're going to look at is Muck. Now, Muck is also pretty cool. Muck has a decent amount of HP for stage 1 at 130, has a 3 energy attack called Venoshock, which does 70 damage, plus if the opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, does an additional 50. So you're looking at capping out at 120. That is good damage for 3 energy. Now, the issue here is two things. One is that you have to have the Pokemon poison. Now, with Weezing, and if you combo correctly, it is possible. Now, the downside is also that you need to get 3 dark energy on there. And there are no ways to accelerate dark energy as of right now. So getting 3 on there is a very difficult and tricky task. So for that reason, it is not in the solid tier. It is just going to be in mid. If the energy cost was just 2, it'd be a lot better. But 1 is a bit rough. I'm sorry, 3 is a bit rough. Moving on to there, we have Nidoking and Nidoqueen. I feel like these kind of come in a set, so you probably should compare them because they're pretty dependent on each other. And the reason they're dependent on each other, and mostly Nidoqueen, is that Nidoqueen has the ability and has the attack for 3 dark energy called Love Strike. This attack does 50 more damage for each of your benched Nidoking. So if you have 2 Nidoking on the bench, you deal an extra 100 damage, you do 180 for 3 energy. That is really, really strong. Now, again, the downside is you're probably not going to get that because you're looking at 3, if you want to pull it off, you need 3 stage 2 Pokemon in total. You need to get a Nidoran male, a Nidoran female, and then evolve them all the way up, attach 3 dark energy, and then attack. It's a lot to ask for. Probably not feasible as of right now, given that there's no really good way to attach energy, aside from just by hand from the side. I don't particularly think this guy or this set is gonna be very good for Nidoqueen or Nidoking. But let's look at Nidoking now. Nidoking, similar issue. Takes 3 energy to pull off the attack. Does 90 and the opponent's active Pokemon is poison, so realistically doing 100 damage for 3 on stage 2. Now poison is nice. I think that it is slightly underrated. It is better in this format with lower HPs than it is in the standard card game. I think that it's interesting. I just don't know if evolving all the way up to a stage 2 for that is going to be worth it. It's got good HP. So, again, the dark type is probably the hardest to try and place as to how good it is. And for that reason, I'm going to put it inside of the mid tier. One last thing to note is that for Nidoqueen, it does have a nice basic Pokemon for Nidoran female. For 1 dark energy, it has Call for Family, which will allow you to grab another Nidoran male and put it onto the bench. That's pretty helpful. That is going to help you get out their Nidokings, but it's not going to be quite enough, in my opinion, to justify putting it into the solid tier. Now, the last card we have here is Arbok, and I feel like something has to go in the solid tier. So, I'm going to put it in there. It's going to be the best of the dark types here, I think, but it's still not amazing. It is a Stage 1 Pokemon, 100 HP, 2 energy cost. It does 60 damage, and then your opponent's opposing Pokemon cannot retreat next turn. Now, this could be useful if you mix with Sabrina and you start messing around with the person's bench, and then you put a Pokemon with a high energy cost in the active, or a Pokemon that has no energy on in the active. Then this guy can be really, really good. I think you can get a lot of nice KOs if you strategically plan around it. This could also very well, with a card we looked at earlier in the grass tier list, Victory Bell. You use it to mess around with the opponent's bench, or maybe Pidgeot, that we'll look at in a later video. So maybe Arbok by itself is not necessarily amazing, but if you mix it with a deck that can mess around with the opponent's bench in the active, this card can be very strong under the right circumstances, which is why I'm going to put it in the solid tier. It's not super amazing compared to other Pokemon types that we've seen in the previous videos, but I think it has enough merit to be in the solid tier for this particular type. But anyway, this was a relatively short one, so thank you for joining me today for the tier list. If you have any differing opinions or strategies, please let me know, because I think the dark type is really interesting, and I'd be curious what you guys have been cooking. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.